Let's talk about life, man. This is our unfiltered episode. We got other stuff dropping for you guys soon, so be ready for it. But yeah, just life. For you guys who didn't know, from December 21st, I received my first positive COVID test, and I pretty much dealt with COVID for about a little over a month. So 21st, I received my positive test. About the 24th is to when I knew I was officially back 100% because I could run like 4 miles and I was good. So, it was just, for me, it was different because I didn't have any of the symptoms everyone else had. Mine was much different. Like most people couldn't smell, couldn't taste, they couldn't breathe, diarrhea, things like that. Mine was just like, it was like a everlasting almost like just heart pain, like just in my chest, which I came to find out was my lungs. But it was just a pain that lingered for days and days. And it was like, it would go from 40% bad to 80%, 90% bad within like an hour, to where I'm like, man, I probably took the most Tylenol I ever taken in my life. I was popping them things like Skittles. So it was just crazy. But, it was something that, I guess it's my testimony that I was able to get through it. I got my family member, my uncle. He's on a ventilator now. He's dealing with it. Lord, I hope that he will be okay. But it was something I experienced. I hate it. I caught it at all. I was disappointed in it, but it's life.
It scared me, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. I know.
When you hit me up and told me the same, it's not the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the premise and the value of our friendship, it's the same context. When when Bird said the 2 saddest days in his life, his father passing, of course, what happened to him, but Magic telling him what he had.
Yeah, HIV, yep.
When you texted me saying that, my heart sunk, because, of course, we're in a pandemic and people do get really sick, and the possibility of dying is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was scared I was about to lose one of my most valued friends.
Man, that's crazy.
The first thought I had.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't, all right, what can I do? What can I bring to you? It was, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I felt helpless, which was stupid because you're the one that has to deal with the reality that you're dealing with a sickness that could actually kill you.
Yeah, and it was just what I was dealing with. I had a couple friends who had similar, I guess, pains, and like they ended up passing away from it, So rest in peace to my buddies, man, Ed and John. But yeah, so that's why like all of that stuff was happening during that time. So I'm just like thinking to myself like, oh, I hope it doesn't like lead to anything close to this, So it was just it's a mental battle for sure. You know what I'm saying? Just to be away from family, like for the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, and things like that. So it was an adjustment period, but things like, we were able to record some episodes and keep in touch and talk and laugh and joke. It just gives you that encouragement, because I think some people just like they panic and then they get into
check out.
Yeah, then they have no one who has their back, so they kind of just give in and it can become worse. But I had you, I have like family. I was getting hit up by family members I haven't heard from in a while.
Yeah, bro.
So
that's what it does.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we think about it from the perspective before you got sick, right?
Yeah.
We're looking at it like, man, we're stuck indoors, nothing to do, right?
Yeah,
all you can do is maybe go to your buddy's house once in a while, or maybe like that's a consistent thing, like we're doing recordings.
Yep.
And then here you are, you get sick. And then you go from what we think is isolation to actual isolation.
And because like 14 days, but it ended up being like 21 because I'm like, man, I want to make sure before I go around anybody that I'm fully healthy, because I don't want any, like I told my uncle, I wouldn't want my worst enemy to go through what I dealt with, because it was that crazy. And then, my cousin being my roommate, he ended up having COVID, and what he was dealing with when it comes to the body aches and nausea and things like that. It was just really crazy, but thank the Lord, everything is good.
You lost a ton of weight, man.
No, yeah, I did, because I was sitting still. So I probably lost anywhere from 5 to 7 pounds.
You weren't eating too, I'm sure.
I was like 172. And then next thing you know, I was at 163.
A mean, lean 163.
Yeah, so for real. But it was just crazy, man. But enough of me. How's everything going, man?
Like COVID in quarantine for me was a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I had basically went into quarantine already kind of in a funk, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, for me, anytime I've been in a funk or a depressive state or depression, right? I've never been able to figure out or pinpoint what it is until afterwards. Of course, hindsight 2020 and clarity, right? Mm-hmm. And I was in a funk, and then we get into COVID and quarantine, and I started journaling every day from the start of last year to the end of that, to the end of 2020, and even to the start of now, right?
Okay. And
throughout that time, I utilized that time to really address things that I had been bearing deep down. I think I sent it to you a while back, that Colin Cowherd video where he's talking about how he became a success story and not crediting it to luck or connections. It was going to therapy and really helping himself mentally. Mm-hmm. Being at the lot, like, I got a chance to actually say hello to him and shake his hand. And I know that it was one of those pedestrian moments that, meet and greet, basically, you kind of forget about it for him. But for me, I told him, like, how impactful it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't give him the details at the time because I was still working it out. And also, that's a heavy burden to just show and give someone immediately, to tell him, like, this is what you helped me accomplish, so let me throw it at you and tell you exactly what it was while you're on your lunch break, right?
Yeah, true.
And I wanted him to know that it was that meaningful. And for me, it was really a journey of self-understanding.
Okay. For
the last 15 years, realistically, 15, 16 years, I had repressed and, buried deep down that I was a victim of sexual assault from the time I was 9 years old up for basically on.
Damn.
And the mental toll that it took on me, for years I've watched Law & Order SVU, right? And I really owe, it sounds crazy, but I really do owe the cast of that show, Mariska Hargitay, guy
Ice-T
who
on that one?
Yes, Ice-T, of course.
Ice-T, yeah.
A guy who plays Elliot Stabler, who is Christopher Maloney. Okay. I couldn't, for the longest time, I could not talk to my family or anyone. I didn't believe I could talk to anyone about it, right?
No, yeah.
Because in my mind, we're raised as the stereotypical societal view as men, strong, you keep your stuff to yourself, you repress it, bottle it up.
You figure it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I had gone to therapists for years to talk about everything else, but this is the one thing that I held down. And as I kept writing, things while I was in isolation kept becoming more and more vivid. I started understanding things more and more and more and explaining themselves out for me, right? Yeah. And I didn't have a therapist at the time and wasn't seeing anyone, so I really wrote in this journal as if I were talking to a therapist.
Okay.
And coming to the realization that I was a victim of sexual assault for that entire time, how it started, what it did to me, and like it really changed my views on relationships. Being a child of divorce and then also dealing with that really shapes and molds your perspective on love, intimacy in such a very, very different way that you have to constantly rewrite things that make you feel a certain way or your perspective and outlook.
Yeah.
And I finally got into a place where I realized I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor of sexual assault.
Yes.
I am not giving that a power or hold over me that really needs to be there. There is only
some people not here today just because they couldn't handle it. You know what I'm saying?
It's the truth.
It shows the strength that you have as an individual because some people just couldn't handle it, So that's why, some suicide numbers will go up because of that. And, the fact that you were attacked the way you did, writing a journal is big. Like, especially if you're dealing with anything like that, like mental issues, just letting your thoughts be free. Like, you get to release them, like a pipe burst. You don't want that pipe to have too much pressure.
And that's what would happen. I went on drunken binges for years, trying to prove myself as a man by sleeping around with women or like being in relationships, And I realized that is the over-masculination that I've been experiencing. I put myself in a place where I felt I needed to do that, and at a time when I didn't know better because I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I never got it out. I never received any help. Mm-hmm. And for me, I've been able to talk to more people about this to a point where it's become normalized. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you enough. Like, when I talk to you about it, man, I sat you down to tell you everything, and you immediately told me that you had known someone who'd been through it, and then you made a joke, right? Yeah. And to me, I don't
joke too much,
but you don't know. To me, that means the world because I look at it as you understand that it's not me. And at that time, you think to yourself, this is how people are going to allow it to define you. This is what people are going to label or categorize you as, right? And the one thing that I learned that, and I want to get back to the point about SVU, which is that there was a specific episode where Olivia is talking to a male victim about sexual assault, right? And he can't believe it. He can't come to terms with the fact that as a man, I was sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
And she explains to him that there is a difference between your body wanting something and your physical response versus what you mentally are okay with and accepting, which also play a role.
Yep, true.
Both play together and they both can act separately, right? And that's the thing that I had to learn to say, okay, wait, just because I was sexually assaulted doesn't mean I am gay. That means that something happened to me that shouldn't have happened to me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't need to box myself in that way, and I know others will accept me.
Yeah.
But it's getting to that point of accepting, like truly feeling in your heart that those around you who know you best
are going to accept you.
Yeah.
And that's what, everybody has a story. Like, everybody has a story. Like, our lives are a book. Day one of the book is the day we're born. And in that book is pages of different things. It's stuff that everybody's going to know. It's stuff that people don't know that you're dealing with. So just because something happens like that, you know what I'm saying? Like someone being raped and stuff. Like, I had a few lady friends, like, that's their stories, and it's just like everybody has a testimony, and it's just about who was able to take that next step to say, man, I'm going to be a survivor and live this, and take a step forward. So that's why, with what I deal with my father when it comes to the mental health issues, just talking to him is like, you have a chance to be a story that can help someone else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think with you being able to say, you know what, I'm a survivor, I'm strong with this, your story is going to be able to help some kid right now who's locked themselves away, kind of like, I'm dealing with this, I don't know how to feel, people are going to look at me differently. Like, man, what you did by telling me and telling others shows your strength, and now you can be an advocate for those people that need that help, because you don't know where to go, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, I'm proud of you for stepping up, dog, because, it takes a lot to give people that, but it's something that you have to do. So
it's heavy shit, man. Like, even as we sit here, I feel like I could cry because it means a lot.
Yeah.
Talking about things that are so deeply rooted in who your existence is for a time being, right?
Yeah.
And then knowing that it really does not need to play a role. It means nothing.
Yeah.
It means legitimately nothing. It's just refreshing to know that others acknowledge and help you get there. I mean, we're back. Yeah, we had some technical difficulties with the audio. I know.
We're back with
crazy.
Serious stuff, man, but
as I was saying,
got to be talked about, man.
I mean, like, realistically, like, we talk about sexual assault and as a guy having to deal with that and internalize it in this society, like me going through it and realizing where I am, it's a mitzvah and a blessing. I was able to get to this point in my journey, and it's an everyday thing. It's not something that just stops. You know? To me, my journey now incorporates paying it forward, helping others. And if that means helping NBA players, helping G League guys, helping NFL players,
MLB,
whatever
kids,
athlete, because for me, the genuine truth is part of the reason why I didn't play sports and I didn't participate is because I was afraid that those things that were still occurring to me outside of what school, right, would occur to me on those teams, right? I didn't understand it. I couldn't find that idea of camaraderie. Somehow I managed to join band, which is a blessing. Shout out to Mr. Bill Bradbury, my band teacher from middle school to high school. What's up, Bill? He is one of the coolest guys on the planet, and to this day, it holds a special place in my heart. But, like, I didn't join team sports because of that, and I found a sanctuary with people who actually love talking about the game, right? Yeah. I played basketball. You've seen me play ball. Like, I know the game, right?
Yeah.
I just didn't play. I would have thought
you at least played in high school.
See, that's the thing. For me, I loved the game, and I wish I had played. And now my what once was a regret is now a lifelong dream of potential, being able to work and talk about the game, and then maybe down the road working with these players in such a greater capacity. Like that,
having relationships with
that's a passion, man. You showing me the love the way you did tells me that I can show that love to someone else who has gone through it and help them.
Thing. And it's a situation that has to be talked about more. We're dealing here with Black History Month. With everything that went on last year, kind of coming to the forefront. You will hope that with the things that black people are going through continue to be talked about and stuff like that, because these conversations, whether it's sexual assault, whether it's racism and prejudice going on, has to be talked about. Like, it can't be quieted. And with me and you having a voice with our platform, friends that have similar platforms or even bigger, that we need to use our voice not to just give the people what they want, but also give them the truth that needs to be heard. Have you seen the movie Judas and the Black Messiah?
Not yet. You've been telling me to watch it.
You need to check it out. It's a great story. I'm really happy they made it, because it's a story that you have to really be in tune with, like, pretty much black history to know of Fred Hampton and his role, a 21-year-old man who was assassinated in his home, with over like 99 shots and fired into his home without one shot being fired back. It was a story I studied in college, because I was a big fan of the Black Panther Party, what they had going, and he was one of the strongest voices out in Chicago. So the soundtrack is amazing too. So I know you're a music guy.
99 times,
man. Like, it's what he has a documentary on YouTube. You can check it out.
That's heartbreaking.
No, yeah, and he couldn't even wake up from sleep because he was drugged to where he couldn't get it. So you got to check that story. Check out the movie. Check out the story. Check out the Informant. He has a little piece. But yeah, it's a great movie. And I'm happy that they were tell his story. You learn about his son, that his wife is still living, stuff like that. So these stories have to be told. You know what I'm saying? Whether you survive COVID, whether you survive sexual assault, and any other thing, it has to be told. So that's why I'm happy that you told your story to the world.
I hate that people say speak your truth, right? And I understand that's a millennial thing to say. Mm-hmm. The truth, realistically, let's just say it as it is. You don't need to speak your truth. It is, you are speaking what has occurred to you. Yeah. I guess, let me break it down. Mm-hmm. I hate the phrasing of it. Speak your truth, right?
Yeah.
It now sounds so normalized, and it sounds so derogatory. I don't know why I've gotten that feeling. Every time that you hear someone say speak your truth, it feels like society has put that in the derogatory reference of frame,
because
right?
It's something that occurred to you, but it's not your life.
Yeah,
you know what
right?
I'm saying? Yeah.
And for me, it's not speaking my truth. It's explaining what has happened to me as a human being.
Yeah.
We are all, I hate to go on this long, like, crazy ass idea with this, but it's good. Really what we talk about when you and I are very big fans of Bruce Lee, right?
We're not joking and talking sports and all that.
We're big friends about Bruce Lee, right? We're big fans of Bruce Lee. Be like water, right? Yep. To me, I had this crazy big, like, whoa moment thought, right? When I started talking about things like, wow, there are so many other people, the realization set in, there are so many other people on this planet who have gone through something similar to this that either haven't talked about it, or who are in the process of finally talking about it, or who have gone through it, talked about it, and are beyond that, right? Or better for it.
Yep. It's somebody who watches this who's going to now be okay to talk about it.
Then you step back. Wow. We're all on this planet experiencing tiny things that are so impactful in our lives every day of the week. We are all being touched. Then we are all being touched by COVID at the same time.
Yes.
We are all in a swimming ocean of life, constantly dealing with the turbulent tides all together. No matter how individualistic we all like to go down the rabbit hole of, oh, why me? Oh, why did this happen to me? No, it's not just you. Everyone else is simultaneously going through something in this giant ocean of water. Agreed. And it is all on us to help each other navigate those waves, navigate that tide, and figure it out. And if you can recognize that others are going through something, whether it's the same thing as you or a similar experience, because not everything is the same, you can then help. And that's what it's really about. It's about paying it forward, helping.
And that's what it's all about. Like, is there a time to be selfish and focus on you and do what you gotta do to make sure you're great? Yes, of course, that's time needed. But once you get yourself together, now who are you helping that may have gone through the same thing? So, that's what we want to use our platform to do that, to not only be great when talking sports, entertainment, hip hop, culture, breaking news, whatever, stuff like that. We want to be in the field of changing lives as well, because there's some kid that's dealing with sexual assault. There's some kid that's dealing with being in an abusive family, seeing his parents every day. There's some kids that are dealing with drugs and stuff like that. There's people going through something, and we can't act like this is not going on. Something that we did last year with the Good News Radio with our team there is like giving to the homeless,
Yeah.
So it's people going through something. So if you have the platform, we're using it to not only be great but change lives, man. So I love this.
And it's the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
We put in work every day to do a sports show, right?
Yep.
And for so many years, I was putting on a front of, and don't get me wrong, I love sports. I love to be engrossed in it. This is my life, right?
Yeah.
My passion.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I was putting on a front to be happy to be on these shows, and that's why I got off social media. That's why I avoided being on social media, because I wasn't being my authentic self. I was seeing others trying to, whether or not because I knew them or not, I could tell they were being either authentic or inauthentic, and that screwed with me to the point where I needed to figure out what was actually Alex Himes, who I was, and what was going on with me for me to feel comfortable enough to start getting back on camera. I mean, hell, I'm not even posting on social media that often still, but I'm finally feeling comfortable enough putting my feet in the waters of social media again, and, letting the tide come in a little bit. And then when I feel comfortable enough, putting my, next foot forward, and then maybe taking a couple steps in, taking the time. And if I can do that, I know that someone else who is feeling a similar way, whether they are watching this and they internalize what I'm saying, or they just see someone who is willing to talk about what has occurred, will be able to benefit from this. And that's why I have the courage to do this. It's not because it's a weight on me. It's because I know that being able to talk about this with you, and then being able to talk about this on camera, will help someone else who's been a victim, and not just a victim, and no longer a victim, hopefully no longer, a survivor of sexual assault, or of something that has really traumatized them.
And it shows true strength, man. So we hope you guys truly enjoyed this, man. Just don't at me Unfiltered. I know you guys used to us lighting it up with our sports takes and all the takes on everything else. But, we want to give you us every once in a while. So, be on the lookout for, more of this, just so you guys can know who we are, what we deal with daily.
We would normally say go like and subscribe and comment down below. But I just want to say that to anyone that's out there who is dealing with either sexual assault or any type of violence or any issue in general, the weight of bearing that on a personal level can deteriorate your mental state way faster than you can fathom. And that occurred for me, going from, using substances and ending up in the ER at a music festival to, coming back to Los Angeles. Wild things happen. So if you feel comfortable, or you aren't even there yet, but know that you need to get us off,
hit us up, man.
Feel free to message us, because we will respond, and we're advocates. We are here to help.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
Give them the social media just so they know exactly.
I'm at Himes LA, and this is at Mykell.
The PG, baby. So
Bang,
if you
bang.
guys just need someone who's willing to lend their voice, lend their time to give you words of encouragement and have your back, man, hit us up, man. Good work. Good work, man.
Great episode, guys, and
We're out of this thing. Peace.